You don't need some elaborate plan in order to choose yourself. You don't. Just by clicking on this video today, you are already choosing yourself because you are keeping yourself in mind when it comes to your preferences, what you want to do in life, the type of content you engage with. You're choosing yourself every single second of the day. The only time you're not choosing yourself is when you are consciously going against what you know to be your true soul's calling. When you're overextending yourself, when you're trying to prove yourself, when you're valuing other people's opinions over your own. Bestie, these are all things that we have talked about before, and if you're new here, hello, welcome. This is the Improvement for Imbeciles podcast. I'm your podcast host, Natalie Edge. This is where I share ways I'm getting my shit together so that you can get your shit together. And like I always say, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to grow, which is why I'm giving you guys a free ebook. This is my first ever ebook that I'm releasing. And let me just tell you, besties, I spent so much time pouring my heart and soul into a comprehensive guide to level up your life in 30 days, and it's completely free. Now, I will say, because I spent so much time on it, I'm only making it free for a limited amount of time until November 1st of 2024. So if you're viewing this in October when I release this video, if you want a way to choose yourself immediately, go download my ebook and read it, okay? Read it, study it. I literally poured so much of my energy into this so that you guys could become the best version of yourself, because I feel like there were so many things when I started my self-improvement journey that I was just so unaware of. And although I've made videos on each of those topics, I also feel like having more of a guide really helps. So go get your little free ebook, bestie. It's in the description. I also have a free survey that you guys can fill out. It literally has nothing to do with the ebook. It's just something that can help me as a creator understand what you guys need from me. I'm so grateful for your guys' support, and I just feel like I want to give back to you guys in a lot more ways and learn how to support my audience through a community or through something that you guys would like, because this isn't just a podcast or a YouTube channel. This is a community of people who want to improve themselves and also admit that, we don't know everything. Which brings me into my first topic from today's video. You're never gonna know. If you're in a relationship or a friendship or a job, you are never going to be certain in the fact of this thing is not for me when you're making that decision. And this is something I realized, because just because you are questioning if something is healthy for you does not mean that you have to take action on it immediately, okay? If you feel like you're not choosing yourself by having a relationship in your life, or by taking back your ex, or by having that toxic friend, whatever the case is, I don't judge here. Sometimes we're not ready to make the decision to choose ourselves because we need to learn why it's bad to choose this person. And it's not like this person is the problem. It's your brain putting people on a pedestal and then getting angry when things don't turn out your way, okay? I'm gonna clock it right there, because this person isn't the problem. You are attracted to this person, and yes, they're in your life, and you might have an unhealthy dynamic with them. Most people we relate to have some type of purpose in our life. They are a vibrational match to us in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean that you want this person to be destructive in your life, but when you allow it, it can mean something about you. For example, you might want to fix people, right? This is something I had to clock within myself very recently. I was trying to fix this person in my life. I was giving this person chance after chance after chance, and simultaneously not giving myself that same exact chance, because in my mind, them changing for me would be the confirmation that I am a worthy person. It came from a lack of self-worth within myself. And I feel like I'm a very confident person, but one thing you must realize, confidence and self-worth are not the same thing. A lot of people assume that it's the same thing. It is absolutely not. Ignore people walking behind me, okay? I couldn't go to my same parking garage I usually go to, so I'm in some random parking lot and people are staring at me, so lovely. Self-worth is the idea that you are worthy by just existing, right? And that's a very difficult concept for a lot of us to really grasp, because we have been conditioned to prove ourselves. And even when we're not proving ourselves, consciously going, oh, I want this person to like me, sometimes our actions are contradictory to the self-worth that we are trying to build. For example, you might say that you have high self-worth, but then you're still allowing this person, giving this person chance after chance after chance to change, wanting this person to change because you love them, right? It's okay to acknowledge acknowledge the love and then also acknowledge that this person's presence is diminishing your self-worth, it's okay to acknowledge it. Two things can be true at once. Someone can be bad for you, and you can also still love them. And that's what's crazy about the human experience. There's so many things that are contradictory, and the reason we stay in certain situations isn't always because we don't love ourselves. It's we don't understand how to be there for ourselves in certain ways. So I just want you to know the love that you've already built for yourself isn't invalid because you want to change someone. You just have to realize if you do give this person the benefit of the doubt, how long are you going to give this person the benefit of the doubt without giving that benefit of the doubt to yourself? Because it can be, okay, well, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt and I'm also still going to work on myself and choose myself at the same time. That can be a reality. But the situations that you want to be aware of is when you feel like you have to choose you or this person. And I promise you, the more you choose the other person or the job or the experience, every single time you do that, your self-worth is going to go down because you know the reality you want is not aligning with the reality you're currently living. You're just trying to change your reality that you're in the wrong ways because you're within proving energy. You're still trying to prove that you're worthy. You might feel like a confident person. You might walk around like a baddie. You might be the dude, that one guy, you might have all of the people in the world love you, right? But you are still operating on the mindset that you are not worthy. Confidence is more so with your own capabilities. You can look like a confident person and walk into the room and not feel shy and be the extrovert that everyone loves. You can be that person, but you can also have very low self-worth because you're trying to prove yourself to other people. But if you're in a position where you don't know if you should choose yourself, I think you just really need to ask yourself, is it me or this person? And sometimes you're never gonna know. Like, you're never gonna know if breaking up with someone is the right answer until months down the line when you're healed and you feel better and you feel lighter. Sometimes you don't realize how much a situation is dragging you down until you let it go. And some situations, it's either you let it go or you be dragged. I've been seeing that a lot recently, like this idea of like let it go or be dragged. And I feel like I've gotten so good at detachment where with this situation I'm currently in, this person did me dirty. This person did me so dirty. And while I'm still angry, I also realize this wasn't in alignment. That was my answer. And sometimes when you ask God or the universe for an answer, don't be mad at the answer that it gives you, even if it goes against what you think you want. An analogy that a lot of people talk about when it comes to choosing yourself is sometimes the universe won't give you something because it knows it's not good for you, right? Just as you're gonna withhold chocolate from your dog, the dog is gonna be like, well, I want to eat it. Like, I want chocolate. Like, you're eating the chocolate. Why can't I eat the chocolate? And okay, well, if I give my dog chocolate, it's gonna die. The dog doesn't know that. So sometimes, the universe withholds things from us because it's really not meant for us and it's actually going to harm us. And one telltale sign that you are not choosing yourself is it feels like you're forcing something. Right? This feeling of forcing something to happen, begging for someone to love you. If you feel like you have to prove yourself and beg yourself, you are not in alignment with that thing. And that doesn't mean you won't be in alignment with it in the future. It just simply means your mindset surrounding it is more out of need than out of want or out of being whole without it. And that's why you need to master the art of detachment. And detachment isn't not giving a fuck. Okay? It's learning how to redirect where you give your fuck. It's okay to care. Like, let's stop acting like detachment is just like, oh, I don't care. Like, not everyone's nonchalant. Okay? I'm a lover girl through and through. I will give someone my heart, my soul, my everything, and then realize like there's nothing left for me. If you feel like there's nothing left for you at the end of what you're doing, you're not choosing yourself because you're still in this energy of having to prove yourself or overgive to someone and get little back. Like this little tiny bit back. You're not getting enough back because they're breadcrumbing you. They're breadcrumbing you, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth. If you're in a situation where you feel like this person, it's like so hard to make them give, they don't want to give to you. They just don't want to do it. Another perspective shift that really helped me when it comes to choosing yourself is learning to walk away. When you walk away from something that it's hard to walk away from, but you know it's not meant for you, you are opening the door to so many new opportunities that are in alignment for you. A lot of us will fear walking away because, we're going to close that door behind us and we're not going to be able to get back in. But when you have a calling that this thing isn't meant for you, that's when you know it's time to, break up with that person or stop being friends with that person or get a new job, whatever the case is. When it starts to feel like you are this thing, that's when you know you need to find an exit. Calling it quits doesn't mean failure. Calling it quits does not mean you're failing as a person. It just means you're learning what races you want to compete in. Not everyone is going to be a cross-country runner. Not everyone's going to be a track star. Not everyone does fitness. And just because that person or that situation isn't in alignment with you doesn't mean you need to close yourself off to the world and try to make it work and try to make it fit. If you're trying to squeeze into a small pair of jeans, get a bigger pair of jeans, because at the end of the day, those jeans are going to rip and you're going to be embarrassed in front of people because you ripped your pants, like SpongeBob's. And now that we've gone through how you need to choose yourself, let's talk about actually choosing yourself, okay? If you're breaking up with someone and that's you choosing yourself, don't do the back and forth, okay? Write a pros and cons list if this person is meant to be in your life. And this pros and cons list, write everything. Write a pros and cons list and then also write a list of what you actually want. Because sometimes we can identify that a person is just not the right fit for us, but that doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's like we operate on this polarity where if we're not meant to be with someone, then they're like a bad person. No, that's not how it is most of the time. Love isn't enough for most relationship situations. It's okay. You can love someone and also realize that this person isn't meant to be in your life, or know that this isn't what you want for your life. And a lot of people might get mad at me for saying this, but you don't need a reason to not want to be with someone. A lot of people assume that you're supposed to have this elaborate reason and give people A, B, and C of why you don't want to be with them. If you don't want to be with them, that is enough. It might be cold. Yeah, it might suck. But if you're just not feeling it, it's okay. And that might be uncomfortable to hear, but a lot of us grew up with a mindset of you take what you can get. And that's the mindset that has polluted your view of love, because you're looking at this person like, well, they're good enough, but you're settling, you're tolerating. You feel like you're doing more for this person than they're doing for you. You feel depleted. And that's not a good feeling to have. And over time, it's going to make you resent that person. On paper, this person's great. They have a nice job, they sometimes give me attention, they have a good friend group. If that person is just not your person, sometimes you just gotta roll with that. And it's okay if you had a season with them and you learn to love and grow and find yourself. Sometimes people are just in our path for that. There doesn't have to be a future. There does not have to be a future with every single person you fall in love with. Pay attention to the times that you prioritize other people over yourself, and those are the ways in which you need to start showing up for yourself, the small ways. You don't need to have some crazy moment of choosing yourself, like breaking up with someone or quitting that job, in order to gain self-worth, because over time, even if you're unsure if a situation is meant for you, trust that you will find clarity when you're meant to find clarity. We can feel like we're doomed if we do, doomed if we don't, just by doing the small things on days where you feel like, damn, no matter what I do, people are gonna hate me for it. Doing the small things that make you feel worthy is most important when it comes to choosing yourself and gaining self-worth, because at the end of the day, it's my life, right? It's your life. You don't need anyone's permission. So when it comes to breaking up with someone or choosing yourself or quitting that job, try not to go back and forth, and have a list of the reasons why this thing is out of alignment for you. Because when you recognize what you don't want, every single time you realize what is not meant for you, you get more in alignment with what is. Every single time you have the guts to let go of something that is hindering you, you have the guts to step into the version of yourself that you want to become. And through trial and tribulation, you will become who you're meant to be, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You don't go backwards. Nothing in the past is what you want, because it's in the past. You already experienced it. You gathered the lessons from it. It's okay to look at the past and go, what patterns are repeating? But if a pattern is repeating, that's because you haven't healed the past. In your future, you're healed. You're worthy. You're confident. You're attracting opportunities that are in alignment with you. When you let go of what's not meant for you, you make room for what is. I also just want to say, get rid of this idea that choosing yourself is selfish. get rid of it. Because a lot of the time people are like, oh my God, you're so selfish for choosing yourself. It's just they don't have the guts to choose themselves. They're run by their own insecurities and they do everything for everyone. So it's more so jealousy that they're projecting onto you because you have the choice to choose yourself. And choosing yourself can definitely be done in a selfish way, but obviously use discernment. Sometimes when people get angry at you for choosing yourself, it's because that's not what they would do in the situation. They never choose themselves, right? So really ask yourself whose opinion matters when it comes to this type of stuff, and check yourself too, because not telling someone where your mind is at, or, cheating or lying or being deceitful, those are ways where choosing yourself can be at a detriment to somebody else. So as long as you're putting yourself first while also allowing other people to know, hey, this isn't what I want to do anymore, then that's okay. You could never ruin the relationship you have with yourself unless you allow it. So when it comes to this idea of what if I choose wrong, sometimes you're never going to know what the right choice is because there's just the choice you make. And every single choice you make is made with your own interpretation of what you felt right in the moment. With your level of awareness, that's what you decided to choose. And whether that's right, whether that's wrong, you got to stand in that decision. I've made plenty of wrong decisions, but I also feel like that wrong decision that I perceive as wrong was the right decision because it made me realize things about myself that I didn't realize before. There's always a silver lining. It's just sometimes we're not mentally ready to see that silver lining. We're not mentally aware at that moment to see what it's really trying to teach us. And that comes with time, and that also comes with you being open to new perspectives and new levels of awareness. What I find really helps is just writing down what I feel like I'm not choosing myself on in order to find ways to choose myself. Sometimes you don't need to cut off a connection or burn a bridge. You just simply need to set a boundary. And that is choosing yourself. You don't need to break up with someone in order to choose yourself. You don't need to cut them off in order to choose yourself. You can just simply say, this is not what I'm going for anymore, and this person is not meant to be in my life in this way, and I feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. What screws us over is when we get so used to feeling uncomfortable that feeling comfortable and actually setting boundaries and maintaining healthy relationships is what scares us. 100% been there, but also identify how far you come. Sometimes we want to self-sabotage relationships that are actually healthy in our life because we're so used to people leaving and we're so used to things not going the way we want. There are things that are out of your control. And that's okay. It's okay to feel like, why? Why couldn't have this thing worked out? Why did this thing fall through? The universe isn't trying to punish you. It's trying to show you a new perspective. Choosing yourself isn't always going to feel right. It's not always going to feel pleasant. It's not always going to feel like this huge confidence boost. But when you know it's a decision you need to make for the better of you, then make it. But stand in that decision. And when you feel those moments of doubt, bring yourself back to that list you wrote of the reasons why you felt like this thing wasn't meant for you. And you gotta trust that at the end of the day, you're going to do whatever you feel is best. Please go check out my comprehensive guide to level up your life in 30 days. Bestie, I really want you to thrive. Whether you choose yourself, whether you don't choose yourself, at the end of the day, choose something. It's okay if you self-sabotage once in a while, because we all do that, right? We're all human. And at the end of the day, I'd rather you be aware that you are learning and growing than also feel like this tense, oh my God, what if I fail? Okay, you're going to fail, and that's okay. This guide really helps you put it in perspective how powerful intention is. When you put the intention to change your life and to really level up into the version of yourself that you envision, you'll start to see and appreciate the changes within you, and you'll start to not feel guilty for choosing yourself, because there's also an associated guilt sometimes of like, am I doing the right thing? That's just because you've been conditioned to not choose yourself. Be sure you're subscribed to my channel. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. I feel like a lot of you watch and then you don't subscribe. What's that about? Bestie, like this video, subscribe, and comment down below, I am worthy, if you made it to the end of this video, because you are inherently worthy. You don't have to do anything to be worthy. You are literally born with inherent value because you're born. Like, think about how big the universe is. You exist. Because you exist, you are worthy. Check out all of my social medias. It helps me. And with that being said, you guys, I'll see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.